if I think of it, I have been steadily improving in my mental state. I have been in a remission since 2024-ish. And there are still two things with which I struggle up until today. And those things are not that serious, but they're a bit awkward, they're a bit unpleasant. So one thing is something that I'm currently going through, and it is like summer SAD. And I watched a video in which a lady said that it's possible. And I don't care if it doesn't exist. I definitely feel it. Summer SAD. And the second thing, I'm a people pleaser, and it's hard to keep my boundaries. Moin moin, dear people, old, new, my friends, the friends of my friends, my relatives, and anyone in the world who found this channel and who thought that the topics I talk about might be interesting for them. My name is Anna of Northern Germany, originally from Russia, survivor, fighter, a writer, and on this channel I talk about books, especially English literature, because it's my passion, about my aspiring author's journey, about mental health awareness, because I had been diagnosed with chronic depression some time ago, sometimes about politics. I do political tea, and one political tea is soon coming, and generally I do and film whatever comes to my mind. So welcome to the chaos. And what we are going to talk about today is this bad guy, The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. And it's a bit funny because if you search on my channel, you will already see a video. You will see that there had been a video already about this book, Mental Health Awareness through Literature. It was dedicated to the Midnight Library, and I think it was sometime in spring 2024. I'd say, I don't remember. And of course, that video is very complimentary. And there was a period in my life when I was saying that Matt Haig is my favorite author. Now I have read much more stuff, and I'm deeper into literature somehow, and now I cannot unfortunately say that Matt Haig is my favorite author. I outgrew him slightly, and lately his books seem the same to me. But I was still staying loyal to this book because I also have an article about it. This book kind of saved my life. Well, of course, it is an exaggeration. A book cannot really save your life if you struggle with a mental condition. You need a doctor and a therapist, and they need to work together to drag you out of the black hole. But this book, as I had believed, well, I will talk about it. I think I still don't consider it a bad book. I have just finished reading it, actually. I had like 2 pages left, and I have just finished it before the video. And it happened that for the past years, I bumped onto several videos in which the Midnight Library was criticized, and in quite a mean way. And it was even so that I started questioning my reality, like the things that I saw in this book, and the people saw the things in this book, they were so different. And I was wondering, like, where did they find this even? And now when I feel much better, when I gain some experience in literature, I'm more into writing myself and I'm educating myself, and well, it's not that easy to impress me these days, I will say. And I just decided that it would be an interesting experience to read The Midnight Library with a sober gaze and say my opinion, because I have something to say. I had been diagnosed with chronic depression. I've been through a lot, and I've been recommending this book to every struggling person. Crucify me. Let's see. Let's read. Let's make up a conclusion. And in the end, we'll return here and I will tell you what I think about this book at that very moment. I began rereading The Midnight Library in the house at the Baltic Sea. This house used to belong to Opa, the grandpa of my friends, who also became my adoptive grandpa. He died in November. Unfortunately, I have an article about that. And without him, the house became very sad, harsh, and quiet. And still, I like coming to this house. Very soon, there won't be house at all, and I enjoyed reading in the rocking chair. I thought I would feel as if I came home after a long journey, but actually not. I think generally I don't reread many books, and that one was too fresh of a memory still. What is he eating? What? What is he chewing on? What was he chewing on? There's baby towels, if we check that up the fat. Doesn't see me. You're a dummy. You're silly dummy dumb. Did you enjoy? Good morning. I'm at my tea ceremony. It's fresh and I'm very happy about it because a couple of days of the heat wave. No, I'm having tea with a big chunk of lemon. I'm also happy about that. But okay. The car. I didn't make an immense of a progress yesterday because when I got some time to read, it was already quite late and we were leaving shortly after. But I read the episode that led to Nora Seed, the main character, ending up in the Midnight Library. And I have some things to say. So far, I can say that for a person who is aspiring to be an author, this book is it's okay. It's just a novel. It's just a bestseller. It doesn't contain whimsical language. It has some plot flaws indeed. For example, I don't know, the very first scene when Nora is sitting in the library hiding from the society with her librarian, Mrs. Elm. Mrs. Elm. And Mrs. Elm is telling her that Nora can be whatever she wants to be, and she suggests her going somewhere where it is not so cold and wet, and she emphasizes that she, Mrs. Elm, hates cold and wet, and they live in Bedfordshire, where it's constantly cold and wet. And the question for me, why Mrs. Elm, if she had also had an opportunity to be whatever she had wanted to be, or she could be, stayed in Bedfordshire? It's just a question into the air. So Nora Seed is extremely intelligent, and she also studied philosophy. I also heard allegations, so to say, that philosophy, like what the philosophy, I don't know, philosophers and the philosophy knowledge that this book contains is, nothing. Basically nothing for people who study philosophy, and it's not really realistic. But I don't love philosophy. I think philosophy at my university was one of my least favorite subjects. This is when you're sitting and your professor is also sitting with this thoughtful look, and you cannot say if she's there or not even there, and she says that life is a river, or maybe it's not a river. I cannot take it seriously. No, philosophy is not my subject. So I didn't like that. Otherwise, okay, what else I didn't like? I tried to apply this, lens for every chapter. Like, is it realistic or not? And plus or minus. Sometimes it works, sometimes it didn't. The scene with the cat who died, and she says, Nora, see that only sertraline stops her from crying. Sertraline is one of the most widespread antidepressants, and antidepressants don't stop you from crying. They don't. They are not supposed to make you euphoric. It's unhealthy. They are. They try to rewire your brain, but they don't turn you into an unfeeling zombie incapable for crying. So it's just it. But for example, the phrase when she looked at the cat's peaceful expression and she saw that the cat is like peaceful, she felt envy. I think it's quite realistic. I think the scenes that lead up to Nora's decision to Virginia Woolf herself, they are quite realistic. You can say that the author experienced that, because in that very moment when I read the book for the first time, I was desperate. And also what this book works with very, very well is the feeling of regret, the feeling of being not enough, the feeling of this burden that you let everyone down. And this is basically what Nora feels. And the chain of events that lead to her Virginia Woolf herself. Again, it's like, it's not that, oh my God, a lot of bad stuff happens, but it's also how your brain is wired currently, and whatever happens, you can see it from the negative side. Or if something small happens, for example, I remember, for example, when I was still at school, my tablet broke, and I had such a breakdown because it was like the last the last point at the edge. And the chapter about string theory, how she was fired. Sorry, T. How she was fired. First, he is telling her that she can do better. And only then he says, yeah, your face, you are spooking my clients with your tear-stained face, so to say. Yeah, I don't know, it's not really... as Stanislavski would say, I don't believe you. Yes, the chapter where she meets, like, people in her life are amazing because they somehow all put their expectations on her and their life depends on her. Okay. And there is one guy who literally blames her for quitting their band, and she says that your biggest problem, man, that you accuse other people in your faults. And he leaves, and she's very upset. But otherwise, what's wrong with the words that she said? Like, literally, bro, if I don't want to be in the band anymore, and if you cannot make it successful without me, why is it my problem? Why is it my problem? Yeah. Also, there is another wonderful scene of meeting people from school. It's also, yeah, I think it's a familiar feeling for people who went to school, were quite unhappy, and they were smart, quick-minded, and then everyone is expecting them to fail because they were so bright, and they're envious, but it's also mostly in our heads. And I just want to say that if I had an opportunity, stunning opportunity to see my classmates, and if I spotted my classmate, I would have gone in another direction. And I really want to believe that my classmates would have done the same. But okay, so far it's not bad. It's not bad from an author's point of view. Reading another author, it's okay. It's okay. But from the mental health point of view, it's also, well, it has the flaws, but it's not that dramatic. I look at rereadings in a weird way. Somehow, reading a book that I had already read in the evening is a waste of time. So I read the Midnight Library in the mornings before work. And then I proceeded to the first story, how she tried different lives to get rid of her regrets. And there I was lost in the timeline a bit. It feels like this part was a bit wobbly because she stated that she had been working for the string theory for 12 years. And somehow before that she had managed to study philosophy, then meet Dan, then date Dan for a while. This is the toxic guy who she regretted not getting married to. And I was lost. Like, when did she manage to do that? And also play in the band at some point. The Midnight Library is also quite light to take it along, so I just took it to spare time because I always show up too early to different places, like to my writing group, because the group has revived. You can see it in the previous videos. And the next thing that I also questioned, and I'm really cherry picking here right now, and I was reading the part about her friend Easy, and her friend Easy, Nora regretted not going to Australia with her. In this timeline, in this story, Easy died, and how she found out that she died, she read in the newspaper like a very detailed article, and I thought that in the real life they are pretty plain, these articles. Cutter! Hey, Cutter! Hello! Meow. One day I came half an hour too early to my writing group and I just ordered myself cake. It was pretty dry. I think this is a very nice cozy place, but the cakes could have been better, I must say. And I was reading the Midnight Library. I was in a nasty mood because, I don't know, I just felt a bit lonely on that day. And I was getting through the chapter in which Nora was trying the life of a glaciologist because she was a curious child and she was crazy about Iceland or Norway, I don't exactly remember, and she decided to try this life. And I was wondering, even when I read it for the first time, there's the story with the bear, the polar bear, because they have different shifts of bear spotting, and they did that one person, one scientist, so they are a group of scientists somewhere at the archipelago in Norway, and they have to spot the polar bear, and to spook him they have a rifle and loud sounds. And I just wonder, is it like, do we have too many scientists that we just leave one scientist to deal with the polar bear while the other group of scientists is just wandering around? I wonder. And this is the thing about the book, also about the philosophy. Usually we trust the author. I have no idea how it works, and if you know if it's a realistic situation, well, share that in the comments. Then I was proceeding reading it on the train a lot. I read on the train a lot. And then it was better. I was approaching the end, and then there is the life where she is married and she has a child, and the conversation with her child was a bit bizarre, I must say, but also I'm quite used to the special needs kids. You have to understand that maybe it was quite realistic. Then it was already the time for the funeral. A friend of mine died, unfortunately, because of lung cancer. And on the way back, I almost finished the book, and this is where I approached the moment of leave, love, love. I actually understood where it originates and where people might have supposed that the message of Matt Haig is actually leave, love, love, just find a boyfriend and smile and be happy and just change your perspective. And here I actually have something to say because I feel like, yeah, you need a bit of deep reading. My train was late, so I had plenty of time to read and philosophize, although I didn't finish the book, so Deutsche Bahn didn't manage even that. So I had been thinking, and of course, changing the perspective, the rewiring your brain. It had become toxic because it had been used for like the commercial ways on Instagram, on YouTube, etc. And it's a pity because what I believe, at least, what Matt Haig wanted to say is that bringing yourself to like a better position is also a lot of work. First, when you're at the edge, you need the medical help, you need a psychiatrist, and then later, unfortunately, the psychiatrist has to work together with the psychologist because the problem is lying deeper. It's much deeper. It's how you learned your ways from the very beginning, the toxic ways from your family, and the points and your beliefs and how you view yourself, your body, the world around. And this is a bit sad because psychologists are expensive. So, of course, this review, so to say, is far from a complimentary review that I did specific years ago when I struggled myself. But I still don't believe that this book is evil. And I also believe that Matt Haig knows what he's talking about. He's been through the depression himself. He also has a bunch of medical conditions. And I think generally about how a person with a mental disorder feels inside, he's not lying about it. He is quite sincere. And of course, for every person, experience is different. But it happened that my experience resonated with his experience. That's why I believe that this book is not a piece of trash. Sorry to disappoint you. Of course, it might have sounded in the previous clips very, very, very critical and negative, but it's for a reread. And also right now, since I write myself, of course I notice more and I question more, and I also try to develop my critical thinking. But it doesn't mean that you should not read this book. You definitely should read this book, because is it feel-good literature? Damn yes, but in the case of this book, I don't really see why it is a problem. You know, if you want to make a break and read something light and, I don't know, just cry a bit, then smile, to be on this roller coaster, and when in the end everything is going to be all right, and maybe you'll learn something, and maybe you will explore yourself from a different angle, I don't see why it's bad. You know, I don't know. I think, of course, literature and the industry works in bizarre ways these days, but I think this book became the multi-million copy bestseller. Yeah, it didn't happen for nothing. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah, you can try it out, and you can try to learn to read between the lines, read a bit deeper. Sounds like do better. No, well, everyone is different, and maybe I'm sure there are many more books that are better than this one, but we have this one also. Why not benefit from that? Also, it's beautiful. I read the last pages and I can say nothing. It is beautiful. It is beautiful from the human life perspective. Yes, so I hope you enjoyed this video. That's already my second reread in this year. The first one was the Wuthering Heights. Also, I have a video, very funny video. You can watch it, and also you can watch my other videos about writing routines, or reading vlogs, or silly DIYs, or my traveling vlogs. You can also check my TikTok out, or my Instagram, or my Medium with articles. I am about to publish an article, and I am also planning another article. I have been planning it for a while, about people with special needs, but in Germany. I already have the Russian perspective, but now in Germany. I just don't have time. But I have one article. It's very sad, kind of, but also very feel good. I hope, or maybe not. I don't know. You can read and decide. Also, you can buy me coffee and give me a small donation if you feel like it. And otherwise, I hope you are not like me and you are truly enjoying summer. Or maybe you live in the other hemisphere and you enjoy autumn, and I envy you. And I don't know. I think that's it. We'll be wishing you love, love, and peace, peace from Anna of Northern Germany. And I hope to see you in other videos. Write me comments, share with your friend, give thumbs up, and see you next time. Tschüss.